Welcome to Quick Takes with Kevin, a weekly podcast about leadership, life, and ministry with Kevin Ezel, president of the North American Mission Board. Each week, Kevin will be focusing on how pastors can keep their souls healthy in the midst of the demands and challenges of everyday life. Now, here's your host, Kevin Ezel.
Hey, Pastor, it's Kevin Ezel from the North American Mission Board. Here today with my favorite people in all the world, Jim Henry, as we look at Lance Swift's book on chapter 17 about Feel the Rhythm. And Brother Jim, there's so many examples of pastoral ministry that you were for me, and I know for hundreds, if not thousands of other pastors. But one, you had a healthy balance of work, time away, personal retreat, and it seemed even from the outside that you had a good balance of that. And what would you say to pastors about the need to take, if you will, a Sabbath or some time away, if it be weekly, monthly? What would you say to that?
Kevin, I wish I could give a testimony that I had it down pat, but I didn't. I worked at it. And one of the questions when I'm with pastor conferences, one of the number one questions is balance. How do I keep my balance and do this thing? And I wish I could say I got it down pat and I did it right every time. But across the years, I did learn some things. And I think I got wiser as I moved along, because early on, I was so stupid. We'd take vacation. I'd go preach a revival at night and have vacation with kids in the daytime. You know, that was so stupid. But that, I was zealous and that kind of thing.
Boy, so that was.
It was dumb.
Maybe we should cut this. Let's find another guy for this.
Yeah, it was dumb. But that's what I'm just saying. But I learned later. So I think it's hard for us to have a Sabbath is because I think we become, in a sense, codependent. You know, we're kind of dependent on the Strokes, and we like this, and they become kind of dependent upon us. Yeah. And so we become a codependency.
We want them to need us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And you like that. It's a good feeling. I'm needed.
Did you take a certain day? Did you find a certain day you took off?
Yeah, I tried to take Saturday off and Friday afternoon. Towards the end of my ministry, I tried to take all day Friday. Yeah. Because that became a date day for me and Jeanette was Friday. Yeah. I had a Friday morning group of guys I met with to pray and study Word and help each other. And then the rest of the day was hers. Yeah. And so that helped me. Every week I try to say, okay, from Friday noon till Sunday morning, unless it's an emergency, I'm going to take off because Sunday's Super Bowl. That's, you're preaching and you got to get ready for that. And I want to be as fresh as I could. So I try to do that week by week. And then periodically I would take maybe after prayer meeting or after Wednesday night church, we'd go to the beach and I'd stay till Saturday. And so periodically, about every 2 months or so, we just break away, just get away. Not vacation, just get away and just get a little of the weight off. Sure. And then I learned about vacation. I used to be gone a week and come home a week and then scatter it. And I've learned this. You need at least 2 weeks consecutively on vacation and have your sermon already in the can, so to speak, before you go, so you don't have to worry about preparing while you're away. If you just go 1 week, you're just starting to wind down. Yeah, it takes you time to wind down and then time to ramp back up. That's right. So that first week, I was still thinking, I got to write this column, I got to make this call. But then after a while, I say, hey, I'm at the beach, I got 7 or 8 more days. Yeah. And I got my sermon already ready when I get home. So that helped on that. Take 2 weeks at least consecutively. And then the other thing, I began a sabbatical policy. Because I was beginning to lose my voice. In 1983, I was preaching 3 times Sunday morning, 2 times Sunday night. Oh, my word. And so the doctor said, when you're tired, the first thing that goes is your voice. Yeah. So he said, you're going to get nodules. So I went and said, can I have a sabbatical? The personnel team said, take as long as you want. Right. So I took off 8 weeks besides vacation, summertime. It was the best thing I ever did. So when I came back, I was so refreshed. I was ready to go again. I had new ideas about the church, what we could do. The people could see it. I was charged up again. So from then on, every 5 years, I took a sabbatical till I left First Baptist. And we put it in a policy, not just for Jim Henry, for our key staff, but for every pastor. I've told them, when you go to a church, ask them if they have a policy. If not, it's not for you personally. Right. This is the philosophy of our church. We're going to take care of our pastor. Yeah. And pastors, with every 5 years, taking that extra time, you'll come back and you can sustain and keep that balance and stay at a church a long period of time if you've had some breaks along the way. Otherwise, you'll burn out.
Yeah. I had a deacon always mess with me. He said, man, I just hate to do that, take the time away. And he goes, it's on how you look at it. You're afraid to take the time away from us. But have you ever thought we might need a little bit of time away from you?
Right.
He said, we're giving it to you for our sake, not yours.
Yeah, I tried to bring in some good guys to preach, like Johnny Hunt and some other people would preach for me. And it was good for them to hear other people. And you know what was amazing? Brother Kevin, I found out, I came back one time, I'd been gone for a while, I saw this guy in the hall, I said, man, I sure have missed seeing you guys. He said, you've been gone. So it's a humbling thing.
Yeah, it's like, that's funny. Well, the pastor burnout's a real thing. And what would you say? There are a lot of pastors out there are busting their can. Yeah. And we got half our pastors in most of our southern states are bivocational. And so they're exhausted from the day job, and then they're doing the ministry. What would you say to a pastor? What are just some simple things maybe to help guard from burnout?
One thing is very important, I think. Well, it's two. One is your quiet time.
Right.
You've got to, that helps get you focused on your day. What's looking ahead is time with God. That keeps something coming in, and you've got to have some time coming in because you're giving out. You're constantly being squeezed. So that would be one thing. Second is you look at your calendar. This was so important. I remember Peter Lord said something years ago. He said, if you don't plan, you and the Holy Spirit don't plan your calendar, everybody else will.
Yeah.
That stuck with me.
Yeah.
And so I had a calendar with the secretary and Jeanette and me, and we coordinated. So if we could say, hey, you're going to be gone so many nights, don't take this, don't do that, say no to this. I wrote in on the calendar the kids' ball game or recital. I put that in. Yeah. And if they call and the secretary said, well, he's got a commitment, I did. That was a family commitment.
Right.
So that helped me. Quiet time. The third thing is discipline your body. When you're busy and bivocational guys particularly, I salute. I don't see how they do it.
Right.
My mind boggles at what they do. But if you can discipline your time to get some physical time, because that physical thing is very important.
Right.
And so I still walk and exercise. I've been doing it for 60 years nearly. And I think that's one reason I've been able to keep going.
Right.
And that kept me refreshed. And so calendar, getting time, with the Lord is so important. And the third thing is your physical discipline is crucial to having the energy, because it takes energy to do it. And if you don't have that energy and you got to have it physically, you just can't do it.
I was going to ask, what would be the advice you'd have to tell a pastor to take a Sabbath when you say, and I guess it would be that you just got to be disciplined. Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing a pastor has to be is you take it over, or if not, somebody else will.
Yeah, and I think one reason we don't, sometimes we think if we work harder, we get more approval or something. Yeah. I think I fell into that. It was strokes if you did good. But after a while, the time to get quiet became very important to me.
Right.
And so I think that sustained me for the long run.
Right. Well, Pastor, it's important to have balance and to have a sense of rhythm and to take time for yourself in order for you to be the blessing you should be for your family. So, Brother Jim, thank you for today and for the input. And pastors, learn everything you can from this guy. You will be a better pastor, a better husband, and a better father.
Thanks for joining us for Quick Takes with Kevin. Each week, Kevin will visit with pastors and leaders as they talk about the challenges they face and the lessons they've learned in balancing faith, family, and ministry. Thank you for being with us.